What if the parts of yourself you envy in others are actually your greatest hidden strengths? That sharp pang of admiration you feel for someone's courage, that quiet awe you have for a friend's creativity, that deep yearning you experience when you see another woman's confidence. For so long, we have been taught that these feelings are a sign of our own lack, a painful reminder of what we are not. But what if this is a profound misunderstanding? What if that feeling is not a judgment, but a compass, a map pointing directly to your own forgotten gold? For so many of us as women in midlife, especially in America, we look at the world and see reflections of what we believe we are missing. We have become experts at admiring the light in others, while remaining blind to the brilliance hidden within ourselves. We call this humility, but the soul calls it a quiet heartbreak. Today, we journey into one of Carl Jung's most liberating and misunderstood secrets, the concept of the golden shadow. It is a truth that promises to transform the painful ache of envy into the thrilling adventure of an excavation. This video is an invitation to stop looking outside for what you lack and to start digging inside for the treasure you have always possessed. Prepare to discover that you are already whole, powerful, and far more brilliant than you have ever allowed yourself to believe. For so long, the journey of self-discovery has been framed as a battle with our darkness. We have been taught to be brave explorers of our inner wounds, our fears, our resentments. This is the familiar work of the shadow. It is vital, it is necessary, and it is courageous. But what if I told you that this is only half of the story? What if Carl Jung's most radical discovery was not that we hide our darkness, but that we are even more terrified of our light? He discovered that we do not just push our flaws and our pain into the shadows, we also push our greatest strengths, our brilliance, our power, our most magnificent qualities. He called this the golden shadow. Why would we do this? Why would we hide the best parts of ourselves? For the same reason we hide our darkness, for survival. Perhaps as a child, your creativity was seen as messy or impractical, so you hid it. Perhaps your natural leadership was labeled as bossy, so you silenced it. Perhaps your deep sensitivity was dismissed as too emotional, so you buried it. We learn very early what parts of us are acceptable, what parts will earn us love and belonging, and any quality that feels too big, too bright, too powerful gets packed away into the unconscious for safekeeping. It becomes a part of our shadow, not because it is bad, but because it was not safe to express it. So if these brilliant parts are hidden in our shadow, how do we find them? The answer is both simple and profoundly unsettling. We find them by looking at the people we envy. We find them in the mirror of our admiration. The human psyche has a fascinating mechanism called projection. Think of it like a movie projector. When there's a quality inside of you that you have disowned, a film reel that you are not allowed to watch in your own inner theater, the psyche does something remarkable. It takes that unowned film and it plays it on the screen of another person. Suddenly, you see someone in the world who is incredibly courageous, or wildly creative, or unapologetically free, and you feel it, a powerful emotional charge. Sometimes it feels like pure admiration and almost reverent awe, and sometimes it feels like envy, a painful, sharp ache of why them and not me. That feeling, that intense emotional reaction, is your soul's GPS. It is a signal flare in the night. It is screaming at you. That quality you see over there, that thing that is captivating your attention, that is yours. It is a lost part of you. Come and get it. Let me give you a more concrete example. Imagine you have a friend who, in her 50s, finally starts the small business she has always dreamed of. She is passionate, she is focused, she is taking a huge risk. And when you are with her, you feel a complex mix of emotions. You feel joy for her, of course, but you also feel a quiet, sharp, painful ache inside. A voice whispers, "I could never do that. I'm not that brave." That ache is the golden shadow. It is not a confirmation of your lack of courage. It is the homesickness of your own inner entrepreneur, your own disowned bravery, your own forgotten passion recognizing itself on the screen of your friend's life. Her courage is a mirror reflecting the courage you buried long ago. Right now, I invite you to bring to mind one person you deeply admire, or perhaps secretly envy. What is the specific quality that shines so brightly in them? Is it their freedom, their discipline, their voice, their peace? See it clearly in your mind's eye. Feel the emotional charge it creates in you. Because what you are seeing is not something external. You are looking at a beautiful, exiled piece of your own soul. This is a revolutionary shift in perspective. It means that every pang of envy is no longer a source of shame. It is an invitation. Every moment of deep admiration is no longer a reminder of what you lack. It is a clue. The people who trigger you the most are often your greatest teachers. They are the walking, talking treasure maps to the best, most brilliant parts of yourself. Your envy is a sacred clue. Your admiration is a compass. But knowing this is one thing. Understanding why we pushed this gold away in the first place and how the unique pressures of midlife create the perfect opportunity to reclaim it is the key to truly bringing it home. And that's where our excavation will go next. So you have seen the mirror. You have felt the truth of it, that the brilliance you admire in another is a distant echo of your own. But this leads to a profound and painful question. Why? Why would you ever disown your own light? Why would you pack away your most precious gifts and leave them to gather dust in the basement of your soul? We hide our gold for the same reason we hide our darkness. For survival. As a child, our authentic self is like a brilliant, radiant sun. We express ourselves fully. We are creative, loud, sensitive, bold. But we quickly learn that the world is not always ready for our full brightness. Our light can be inconvenient. As we discussed in our last video on the good girl persona, we learn to dim ourselves down to be acceptable. Your creative spirit was perhaps called unrealistic, a messy distraction. So you learned to be more practical. Your fierce, passionate voice was perhaps labeled too much or dramatic. So you learned to be more quiet. Your deep, intuitive knowing was perhaps dismissed as silly or illogical. So you learned to trust your head instead of your heart. Does this resonate? Each time this happened, you made a subconscious calculation. You learned that expressing this part of your light could lead to disapproval, shame, or even the withdrawal of love. And so, out of a deep and intelligent need to belong, you made a choice. You packed that beautiful, brilliant quality away. You placed it in the shadow, not as a rejection, but as an act of protection. You were keeping your gold safe until it was finally safe to shine. And that time is now. This is the great sacred secret of the midlife metamorphosis. So many women in their 40s, 50s, and 60s arrive at a crossroads. They feel a profound sense of fatigue, a stagnation, a feeling of being stuck even in a life that looks successful from the outside. They feel that the ambitions that once drove them have lost their spark. This is not a sign of depression necessarily. It is the bill coming due for a life lived at half wattage.
Think of your life force as a finite source of energy, a battery. When you live in alignment with your true self, expressing your gifts, speaking your truth, your actions generate energy. But when you live in opposition to your true self, when you spend your days suppressing your golden shadow, it requires an immense amount of your life force. Holding back your brilliance is even more exhausting than dealing with your darkness. The profound fatigue of midlife is often the exhaustion of a soul that is tired of hiding its own light. It is the energy crisis that occurs when the cost of suppression finally outweighs the perceived benefit of acceptance. Jung taught that the second half of life is not a decline, it is a sacred accounting. It is the time when the soul, having fulfilled its duties to the outer world, building a career, raising a family, finally turns its attention inward. It is no longer willing to live on the fumes of an old identity. It begins to demand wholeness. It begins to call for the return of its lost treasures. That feeling of being stuck, that sense that something is missing, is the voice of your golden shadow rattling the bars of its cage. It is the yearning of your disowned courage, your forgotten creativity, your silenced wisdom to come home. So if you are feeling this midlife fatigue, if you feel a sense of flatness or a lack of purpose, I invite you to consider this. Perhaps you are not burned out. Perhaps you are simply living a life that has become too small for your soul. A life that is starving for the very qualities you have pushed away. The stagnation you feel is not a failure. It is a compass. It is pointing you directly towards the work of this new season of your life, the sacred, thrilling, and vital work of excavation. It is the soul's way of saying, the time of hiding is over. It is safe to shine now. So how do we begin this excavation? How do we walk back into the shadows, not with fear to face a monster, but with excitement to reclaim a treasure? How do we learn to own our light without being blinded by it? That is the practical, beautiful work of integration. And that is where we will go next.
So you have seen the mirror. You have understood the sacred reason for your fatigue, and you feel the call, the quiet, persistent call of your own hidden gold. How do we begin this excavation? How do we walk back into the shadows, not with fear to face a monster, but with gentle curiosity to reclaim a treasure? This is the beautiful, practical work of integration. It is not a complex psychological process reserved for experts. It is a series of small, conscious choices that allow you to bring your lost brilliance back home. It begins with 3 gentle steps. The first step, I call it the hunt. It begins with a pen and a quiet moment. I invite you to open your journal and make a list of the people you admire, the people who trigger that sharp pang of awe or even envy. And next to each name, write the specific golden quality that captivates you. Is it their unapologetic voice, their fierce independence, their deep, quiet wisdom? Be as specific as you can. This is not a list of your deficiencies. This is your personal treasure map. You have just identified the coordinates of your golden shadow. The second step is the claim. This step requires a shift in your memory. Look at the first quality on your list. Let's say it is courage. Your immediate thought might be, I am not courageous. I invite you to challenge that thought with gentle, loving curiosity. Look back over the vast landscape of your life. Maybe you weren't starting a business, but did you move to a new city alone? Did you speak a difficult truth to someone you loved? Did you survive a great loss? Did you raise a child? That is also courage.
Your golden shadow does not live in grand, dramatic gestures. It lives in the quiet, overlooked evidence of your own life. Your job is to become a detective for your own brilliance. Find one small piece of evidence, just one, that proves you have at some point embodied this golden quality, and write it down. Claim it. It is yours. The third and final step is the experiment. This is where the treasure is brought out of the vault and into the light of day. It must be a small, low-stakes experiment. Let's say the quality you are reclaiming is your creative voice, which you admire in a friend who writes beautiful poetry. The experiment is not to write a book. The experiment is to write one single page, just for you, and then, perhaps, to burn it. Or if the quality is your boldness, the experiment is not to quit your job. It is to state one single opinion in a meeting without apologizing for it afterward. A tiny act. The purpose of the experiment is not the outcome. It is to give your golden shadow a little bit of air, to let it know that it is welcome now, to begin the slow, beautiful process of reintroducing it to your conscious life. As you do this work, a natural fear will arise. The fear of being too much, the fear of outshining others, the fear that if you change, you will lose the people you love. This is the old survival programming kicking in. Honor this fear. It is the voice of a part of you that has worked so hard to keep you safe. But know this, the people who are meant to be in your life will celebrate your light. They will not be intimidated by it. They will be inspired by it. Living your authentic life is a filter that gently and lovingly sorts your relationships for you. And this leads to the ultimate payoff, the vibrant future. What happens when you begin to integrate your golden shadow? The world begins to feel different, not because it has changed, but because you have. That pervasive midlife fatigue begins to lift. It is replaced by a new kind of energy, the clean, renewable energy that comes from living an undivided life. There is a quiet confidence, a solidness in your own feet. You no longer need to look outside for validation because you are living from your own inner source. Your envy for others softens and transforms into a joyful recognition. You see their light and it reminds you of your own. This is what it means to be whole. Not to be perfect, not to have vanquished your darkness, but to have embraced all of yourself. The shadow and the gold. The broken places, and the brilliant, unconquerable light. This is the true work of becoming.
And so we arrive at the end of this excavation. We began this journey together with the painful secret shame of envy and admiration. We looked into the mirror of another's brilliance and saw it not as a judgment of our own lack, but as a beautiful, heartbreaking reflection of our own forgotten gold. We learned that the shadow is not just a place for our wounds, but also a vault for our greatest treasures. And we took the first gentle steps to hunt, to claim, and to experiment with bringing our own light back into the world. This is the journey. From feeling less than to knowing you are more than you can imagine. From seeing the light in others to finally beginning to own the light within. Please know this. This is not a final destination. It is a new way of walking through the world. The next time you feel that sharp pang of envy or that deep, reverent awe, you will not have to fall into the old story of your own deficiency. You can pause. You can take a breath, and you can whisper to yourself, "Ah, there you are, another piece of my own lost gold. Thank you for the reminder." This is the path to wholeness. It is not about eradicating your darkness or becoming an arrogant figure of pure light. It is about the courageous lifelong dance of integrating all of who you are, the wounded parts and the wonderful parts,
the shadow, and the gold. Your brilliance is not a threat, it is your birthright. If this message has stirred something within you, if you have felt a flicker of recognition, a quiet aha, I invite you to join this sacred excavation. Share in the comments below one golden quality you admire in someone else that you are now willing to consider might also be your own. Is it their freedom, their creativity, their peace? Your declaration, your willingness to simply consider the possibility might be the spark that helps another woman recognize her own hidden brilliance. Let us create a gallery of treasures for one another. And as you begin this beautiful journey of reclaiming your own light, I want to prepare you for a tender and important truth. As you begin to change, as you start to shine more brightly, not everything in your life will be able to stay. In fact, some of your oldest, most familiar relationships might be the first to feel the strain. If you wish to continue this journey, I invite you to watch my next video, where we will explore the painful but necessary truth of why old friendships fade. In that video, you will find the tools to navigate these goodbyes with grace and learn how to create the sacred space your authentic, brilliant self now deserves. Thank you for walking this path with me. Be kind to yourself as you learn to shine. Your light is so needed in this world.